Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're continuing our Tesla equals Diana series, and we're jumping into a really profound universal struggle, that battle we all fight inside our own heads. And we're going to do it thanks to a pretty incredible connection made by the author Sundar Rajan. So let's get right into it.
So, what on earth could a legendary warrior prince, from an ancient epic, have in common with a best-selling author and historian from the 21st century? It sounds like the setup for a strange joke, but the answer really gets to the heart of what it means to be human.
There's an old Tamil proverb that sums this up perfectly. It asks, "Why are you tying a knot between a bald head and a knee?" It's basically their way of saying, hey, you're comparing apples and oranges here. And yeah, on the surface, it absolutely looks that way. But trust me, there's a deep, powerful connection we're about to uncover.
Okay, so on one side, you've got Arjuna, a literal master of the battlefield, with unparalleled control over the external world. And on the other, you have Yuval Noah Harari, a master of huge, complex ideas, with an incredible intellectual grasp of history. Both of them, in their own way, achieved almost superhuman control, externally. But the challenge they share? That's all internal. So let's go back in time. We're on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This is where one of the greatest warriors in all of literature makes a truly shocking confession about the one thing he just can't seem to conquer, his own mind.
So after Lord Krishna explains the whole path of meditation, Arjuna, this is a man of incredible discipline and focus, remember? He responds with this really powerful verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Chanchalam himanah Krishna pramathi belavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayor eva sudushkaram.
I mean, think about that for a second. This is a staggering admission. Here's a guy who can handle the most powerful, world-ending weapons of his time, and he's saying that trying to tame his own thoughts is harder than trying to control the wind itself. It's this cry of frustration that, honestly, feels just as real today as it did thousands of years ago.
Okay, so now let's fast forward a few thousand years. We're going to hear an almost identical struggle, but this time it's from a modern intellectual giant. This is Yuval Harari. For all his incredible brain power and analytical skill, he admits that something as simple as just watching his own breath felt, well, impossible. He even kind of suggests that his super analytical mind, the very thing that made him so successful, was actually getting in the way of finding any inner calm.
But here's the thing. That difficulty, it didn't make him quit. It actually fueled his commitment. Get this, Harari now meditates for 2 hours every single day. And he credits that practice with giving him the focus and clarity he needed to write his huge, best-selling books. So what is going on here? If a legendary warrior and a brilliant historian both find this inner battle so incredibly hard, what does that mean for the rest of us? Well, the answer isn't that we're failing. The answer lies in our basic human design. You could almost call it our factory setting.
There's this ancient text, the Katha Upanishad, that offers a surprisingly modern diagnosis for this restless mind. Just listen to this verse. Paranshi kani vyatranat swayambhu, tasmat parang pashati nantarat man. This little verse explains everything. Okay, let's break that down. What it's basically saying is that we are hardwired to look outward, not inward. It's not a flaw, it's not a bug, it's a feature of our design. And this, right here, is the root cause of our inner struggle. The text has a specific name for this, paranshi kani. It just means the outward-going senses. Think of your senses, sight, hearing, touch, like gates that are just permanently open to the outside world. They are constantly pulling your attention out. That is our factory setting. And this explains so much, right? It's why it's so easy to get completely lost in a movie or a great book. That's concentration, sure, but it's flowing with our natural outward-facing design. Meditation is the exact opposite. It's a deliberate act of reversal. You're literally trying to make a river flow upstream. Of course it feels hard. So, if we are fundamentally built to look outward, how in the world do we manage to look in? Well, there's a beautiful little parable from the sage Sri Ramakrishna that illustrates this perfectly. Okay, so picture this. There's a sergeant walking around at night holding a lantern. The light is shining outwards so he can see everyone else perfectly, but it keeps him hidden in the dark. Now, our consciousness, that's the lantern. All day long, we shine it out into the world. Meditation is that simple but really profound act of just turning the lantern around to shine back on ourselves. But the Upanishad doesn't just give us the diagnosis and leave us there. It also shows us a path forward. It presents a choice that's available to every single one of us.
The text says that a dhira, which means a discerning, resolute, almost heroic kind of person, can consciously make the choice to turn their gaze inward. It's not the easy path, for sure. It's the path of swimming against the current. But it is a possible one.
So here's the big takeaway from all of this. The next time you sit down to meditate and your mind feels like a wild storm, just remember Arjuna. When your brain just won't stop analyzing every little thing, remember Harari. That struggle you feel, it is not a personal failure. It's just a sign that you're human, bumping up against that factory setting we all share. So the challenge is literally built into our design. It's part of the deal. The only real question left is, will you choose to be the discerning one? Will you choose to turn the lantern inward? Knowing all this, maybe you can approach your own inner journey with a little more kindness, a little less frustration. What's one small step you could take, even today, to begin that turn?